How do you market yourself as a small business owner when it comes to the sales and marketing function? You're on a shoestring budget, you don't have a lot of employees. How do you grow your sales and marketing function? My name is Christine Kasina, and I'm happy to host this conversation by Kingdom Bank Growth Hub. They have a place called the Growth Hub where you can come in as a business owner, ask your questions, get engagement, get expert advice so you can grow in every area in your business. I am joined by Maureen Amakabane, who's a business owner, as well as a marketing expert who's going to share with us how do we grow in that area of sales and marketing. Maureen, welcome so much to this conversation.
Thank you, Christine.
You know, as a business owner myself, when I think about sales and marketing, sometimes it is so hard to differentiate the two. And either way, most of us don't have the budget to separate the two. Make us understand briefly, what is sales, what is marketing? And for a business owner then, how do you grow your sales and marketing on a very tight budget?
Okay. So sales, true, people either combine or split. So maybe there are broad definitions, but today I'll narrow it down to marketing. Is the idea of you understanding why you want to do in the market, what you want to do in the market, and why you want to play in that market, and then how will your product get to the market. So it will be branding, it will be packaging, it will be pricing, it will be research, it will be I'm taking this product to a specific market. I'm going into the water business to sell to people in traffic, for example, or I'm going to a water business to sell to the supermarkets, for example. So that's marketing. And then sales is how then do you get consumers to pay for your product or service.
So how do I get people to pay for my service? Not just because I like my service and I believe that, oh my gosh, it's going to change the world. It doesn't mean that it's a viable business.
It could be viable, but you need to understand why your consumers find it valuable to them. Because until a consumer sees value, they won't part with a shilling. So you have to look at it from the consumer's perspective.
That's a good point.
Yes.
That's a good point. So in a place where, like we've mentioned before, and I keep emphasizing on this point, that we don't have the big budgets of big corporations, how then do I market my water business, like you've mentioned? How do I market my makeup company or my food business? How do you then get to market and be out there and make the sales happen?
Definitely, as a business owner, you have to look at the two components. So in the marketing spectrum, let's look at you branding your product. So do you have a brand, or do you want to say, I'm just selling makeup? And I'll give you an example. We've seen a lot of small business coming up in the cosmetic. So a lot of them already have brands, or you'll just find somebody saying, I'm selling virgin coconut oil.
Right.
So branding is very important because it starts making you stand out. So can you have coconut oil but branded?
So branding gives me identity.
Yes, it gives you an identity.
That's a good point.
And you know, you're playing in this space where there's so many people, so you want to start standing out, so branding. So you can have X coconut oil. We already know it's virgin, but it's branded, and then it's a coconut oil. And then invest in a logo. You know, once you come up with a brand, invest in a logo, and then visuals. You know, social media, a lot of small businesses are using social media to push and promote their products. Product photography. Invest in a good phone, or invest in a good camera. Take good products.
Do you get a lot of business owners who invest in product photography?
Yes, we are encouraging. I've seen, I'll give you an example, a very practical example. There's a small business who was selling fresh produce. And then they just took this produce and put it on the floor. And they took a photo. Good thing is the community that I was in was very safe, but people gave her feedback. And they're like, at least put it on a tree. You know, so that it shows the cleanliness. And that's another,
wow.
yes.
The
small things. So you might not invest in you might not have a budget for photography, but when you're doing it even on your phone, clear the space, clean it up, then take a good photo, visuals. And then what are you saying about your product? Are you effectively communicating the value? You know, like you can tell me virgin coconut oil, for example, but what does that mean to a consumer who doesn't understand what virgin coconut oil does?
Because
what does it help with?
You know, the truth is people buy value, not the product.
Not the product.
What will the product or service do for me? Not the fact that it's coconut oil. That's a good differentiator.
So you might be very passionate about, I'm pushing a natural product, but if the consumer doesn't understand why it's natural and how it's going to benefit them, they can just pass it. Yes. On the sales spectrum, I would like to emphasize that business owners think about a target. So you've done all these investments. So you've gotten the product, you've shipped it, you've paid all that. A simple way to look at it is you spent maybe 10,000 shillings to start this business. How am I going to recoup? You've already priced your product. So it's simple. 10,000 divided by the price of the product will give you a number that you need to push for you to recover your money and then start making profits. So set your targets. Set your targets and say every day I want to sell 2 pieces. Or every day I want to, if you're in the service area, most of the time we talk about products and we forget about service.
Right.
So every day if you're in the service area and maybe you're doing events, for example, you want to say, I want to do 10 events in a year.
Right.
And then work backwards. How will that look like? Is it quarterly? Is it monthly? Is it bi-weekly? That kind of a thing. Set a target. It helps you focus on where you're going.
It makes me wonder, Maureen, in your line of work as a marketing expert, do you get a lot of salespeople who set targets for themselves and make it happen? Or it's a struggle for most people?
It's a struggle for most people who are not sales experts, but as a sales expert, that's the first thing you do. For example, if you're, because of course I come from the corporate background, and you'd be told your target for the year is maybe 20,000. You know, so you have to really break it down.
Right.
Make it manageable so that I know if my target for end of the day is 20,000, by month is divided by 12. By day is I work Monday to Friday. Every day I need to have sold 1 unit, 1 product, 1, you know. And there are days which are very bad days, and that's when you're always told there can be something unusual that is happening. You can go to a conference and push to recover. So it's not cast on stone, but it kind of gives you a direction. Okay. It gives you a direction on where you're going and what you need to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about outsourcing your sales and marketing function? I know as business owners, literally we do everything within the business, which could be productive or counterproductive. But then again, on a shoestring budget, how then do you, is it a possibility even to think about outsourcing your sales and marketing function?
Yes, it is a possibility, but before you do that, I'll encourage business owners to take a step back. And if sales and marketing is not your expertise, like we do in many other, you know, we see people hiring accountants. We see people hiring head of production. But why do we struggle in getting an expert in sales and marketing?
Why?
It's because maybe we don't understand it. So I would encourage, even before you start outsourcing as a business owner, I would encourage for you to invest in taking up a sales and marketing course.
Yourself,
so that you can understand what is my sales process, what is my marketing process, what is my route to market, what is my customer journey, how does that look like? And as a strategic level, you're in charge of either delegating, outsourcing, or hiring, so that you're able to identify the right talent when you see it. Because you have understood your product or service,
absolutely,
then you know this person will fit the marketing team or this person will fit the sales team, because maybe my product requires somebody who speaks Swahili. And when you see a good Swahili speaker, then you're like, I can train on the rest, but they'll be able to deliver the product. You know, that's just an example of language. Fantastic. So it's that. So as a business owner, it's very critical for you to understand your processes. Then you're empowered to make decisions, and you empower your team effectively, and you take ownership of the vision.
That's
Remember even the target you're talking about. If you really understand that, you'll be able to tell the person, I'm actually hiring you to bring for me 100 sales in this year. Because I know it's possible. I've gone through the sales journey for the business. I know it is possible. And we're not discussing, we're now just focusing on very objective discussions. From the time I'm onboarding you, you know your role is to come and sell, and you're coming to sell 100 units. 102 will be great, but why you're here is to sell 100 units. Fantastic. Maureen, as we wind up this conversation, we cannot end without talking about the role or using or leveraging on social media. How can we use that as business owners to grow in our sales and marketing? Social media is very, very powerful. In the marketing spectrum, you can use social media for research. You know, you can really, remember we said you want to understand if the current products in the market or services are meeting consumer needs, because you want to create value for the consumers or the market you're targeting. So research can even be done very easily on social media. Do a Google form or do something up, do a small survey, send it out to people you perceive to be your ideal customers. And you see already in social media, that's already segmented. You can pick women, you can pick men, you can pick the age bracket.
That's true. That's
you
very
can
true.
pick a broad demographic. You know, you can speak to parents directly, for example, if that's your product. So research, you can start from there. And then, of course, selling. Kenya, we are very privileged to have all those digital platforms and also have mobile money.
There you go.
And then where I want to also put some emphasis is WhatsApp for Business, which is conversational commerce. So there's WhatsApp for Business. If you download it as a separate app, it gives you the opportunity to list. You can open a shop, you can set up a catalog, and you can brand it. So it starts standing out and it starts going around with your brand. So
also what we need to change as business owners is how we interact with our social media. And then something that I know we mentioned offline, that sometimes you get business owners who say, I'm not a social media person, but then your business needs to be seen somewhere. Absolutely. And one of the cheapest ways that can happen is on social media. Absolutely. So definitely we need to get our business owners to embrace the power of social media.
They might not be there as an individual, and I know business owners who are not on social media, but their businesses are very strong on social media. Absolutely. So your brand is a different identity. Your brand bears a different identity from who you are, and it's important for you to just separate the two.
When you look at social media pages and you have somebody who's put their product description or service description, would you recommend that we get people to put their prices as is? Because we get a lot of people say DM for inquiries, direct message for inquiries. Why don't we just put our prices out there if that's the price?
That's a very interesting conversation. The direct answer is yes, put a price. And a lot of business owners fear putting the price because they feel, oh, people will stigmatize. But if you're having a discussion about pricing, it means then you targeted wrongly. And social media also gives you the advantage of setting the target market you're selling to. Put a price. So it goes back to targeting. How are you targeting? Remember we talked about niching, talk about targeting. That you should also do on social media.
Thank you so much, Maureen, for empowering us on this conversation. I'm sure our business owners who are looking and listening into this conversation, they're better for it. They know that now they don't need to be shy to put their prices on their pages. Go ahead, embrace your price, and see how you can continue growing in your sales and marketing journey. On that note, I would like to bring this conversation to an end. I don't know what you've learned. For me, one of the key takeaways I'm taking away from this conversation is one, the importance of me learning my niche, knowing my target market for sure. And then it's important for me to invest in knowing the sales and marketing journey of my business, invest in going for trainings or whatever it takes for you to know your business journey and how the sales process works out before you bring in people to work for you. Speaking of how we can continue to be empowered, Kingdom Bank has the Growth Hub where you can come in, ask for expert advice, and eventually, you never know, when you ask a lot of questions, we'll find a way to bring a forum where we can continue to grow in sales and marketing and more. And I'm looking forward to your questions and comments in the comment section so we can see how we can continue to grow together and empower each other. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next clip.